Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Fantasy Football Formula for our first episode of, week-to-week spread picks. We missed week one, but a lot of wedding stuff going on, and Nick will be joining us back next week for week three. But starting off as our new channel, Fantasy Football Formula, we'll be going through game by game, giving you our spread picks, and we will be giving you each our lock of the week. So
Which we
I
know
guess
will always hit.
every week our
Everyone
locks always hit. So as long as you tail on those, you guys should be millionaires by the end of the year. It's guarantee.
pays to
Um,
listen.
pays to listen to this podcast and this YouTube channel. But we're starting off Thursday night football tonight. So I mean,
Got a good
I
one.
guess it is a good game, but by the time this episode's out, the game's already over. So I guess we can just quickly say what our pick is and move on to the next game. So I'll let you go ahead and start us off, Alex.
For sure. Yeah. This is going to be a good one. I think there's going to be a lot of points in here, but I do think the under is going to be in play. It's one of these high power offensive matchups that you see the public betting the over under up on, and always a lot of public money on the over, which Vegas accounts for. So my pick here is definitely the under, but if I'm picking one of these teams, I think the Chargers are going to take this one early in the year. I think maybe when they match up again later in the year, the Chiefs might make some adjustments, but I like the Chargers in this one, even without Keenan Allen, plus 4.5.
Yeah, I think Keenan Allen being hurt and being out is going to hurt them on the outside. I mean, Justin Herbert's great and all, but I mean, the defense last week for the Chiefs against the Cardinals, I know it's like two separate teams here and completely different, but you saw what the Cardinals did. They were out with their top two wide receivers and they couldn't move the ball. And I think it's going to be not similar, but just enough of a struggle to move the ball on some drives that it's going to cause them issues. So I'm going Chiefs minus 4.5. Chiefs have been notoriously bad for covering the spread over the past couple of years. That's what they've been known for. But actually, if you look at they've been pretty good against divisional opponents their last couple games here. So I'm going Chiefs minus 4.5, and I like the under as well.
I guess we all agree on the under there because I've always been a proponent of the under on Thursday night football, and then even especially when it's a high total. Love the under here. But if I had to pick, I really actually do like the Chiefs minus 4.5 after Keenan Allen's out. I guess JC Jackson is going to play, but a banged up corner like him, that could be actually beneficial to the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs had an incredible performance in game one, and I really do think I think they could possibly win this game by double digits. But I'm calling like a 30 to 20 game here, Chiefs.
Yeah, I think Mahomes has heard everything this offseason about losing Tyreek and vision getting so much better. And I think he's playing with a little bit extra.
Yeah. He can make it happen with absolutely anyone. Like
5
Juju comes over
game one, no problem.
Yeah. Easy.
Yeah.
So he's gonna keep it. They're gonna play at home on a short week too. I think that's another big factor in the Chiefs' favor. So going with the Chiefs here tonight. I think big game from Juju here. All right. Moving on to the early games on Sunday, we got the Commanders at the Lions. The spread is minus 1.5 for the Lions. Go ahead, Corey, and start us off.
I think this is such a trap game. I mean, both the Lions looked terrible last week. Yes, they came back and they looked a little bit better. But I mean, the Eagles kind of took the foot off the gas and on their defense, and the Eagles defense is much better than that. So, and the Redskins defense is not, they're without Chase Young still. And then they also have Carl Wentz as their quarterback, who, again, what he does, he looks good on a couple plays and looks really bad on other plays. But with that being said, I think the Lions are still the Lions. I like the weapons better on the outside for Washington. Jahan Dotson looked good. They still got Scary Terry over there. So I'm taking the Washington Commanders. Else.
The Washington Cowboys. Is that
The
what you're about to say?
commies.
I was going to say commies, but Washington, because I wrote that down. So I'm taking, Commanders plus 1.5 / money line.
Yeah, I think if you're going to go Commanders here, you got to go money line, right?
Yeah.
Just get that little bit extra juice in there. This is going to be the first game in the last 24 games that the Lions are favored. Just let that sink in. It's like almost,
Wow.
Basically 2 seasons that they haven't been
I
favorites.
think it's deserving, but we'll see.
Yeah, no, I think, I agree with you, Corey. I think the Lions, the score looked better than the Lions actually did of that Eagles game. And I do like the Commanders wide receiver set a lot, especially with obviously a rookie Jahan Dotson and a healthy Curtis Samuel. Obviously, Scary Terry is that guy. But I think the Lions defense is going to give Carl some trouble here. And I think that they're going to ground and pound them. And I think that DeAndre Swift and Jamal Williams take them to victory here. So I'll go Lions minus 1.5.
Yeah, the Lions the last season treated everyone well who bet them on the spread. They were one of the best teams against the spread. Coming into the year, I didn't even watch Hard Knocks. I know I got accused of being a Hard Knocks bandwagon, but I watched the first episode and none of the rest. The Lions were one of my favorite bets last week against the Eagles. It was ugly, but they got there. And I'm taking them again against the Washington Commanders. I don't think they're any good. And I think the Lions, again, Jared Goff, I don't think is a good quarterback, but he did go to the Super Bowl with the Rams. And I think the Lions, if the Lions actually had a very good quarterback, they would be a sleepy Super Bowl contender, like a sleeper Super Bowl contender. I think they have a very, very good team. They have one of the best offensive lines. I think they're going to come away with a victory here. So I'm going to go ahead and take the Lions minus 1.5. All right. So now we're moving on to the Jets at the Browns. The line is now at Browns. What?
Bad game.
It is a gross game. Jets at Browns. So 6.5 in favor of the Browns. Very low total. It's going to be an ugly game, but who wants to start us off here?
So is Joe Flacco still the quarterback of the Jets?
Yes, he is.
All right, Browns minus 6.5.
I think they threw the ball 50 something times last week, which is crazy to hear. And they still, I don't even know how many points they put up, but they threw the ball 50 something times.
Yeah. This is pretty easy right here. There's not much to really talk about. It is Jacoby Brisket, but they still have Chubb and Hunt in the backfield, and that defense is one of the best in the league. So I think I'm taking the Browns minus 6.5. I know it's a lot of points, but it's Joe Flacco and the Jets just don't look like an NFL team right now.
I'm going to go ahead and take the Browns as well, but I do want to say that I think it's going to be an absolute sweat for them to cover this. I do not think this is an easy cover. No way I'm touching this game, but at least the Ravens had Lamar Jackson. Sorry, I'm chewing ice.
Great timing.
Yeah.
At least the Ravens had Lamar Jackson, but the Browns have Jacoby Brissett, and that it's going to be ugly. The total is very low, and I usually hate taking spreads that are this large when it's a low total, but I'm still going to go with the Browns with Joe Flacco on the other side. They do have a good defense, and they should be able to run the ball a lot. So
I might take a
it's
little.
Going to be very.
Oh, sorry.
It's going to be ugly. It's going to be ugly. That's all I'm going to say, and I won't be surprised if the Jets do cover it.
Yeah, I'm going to take a little flyer here. Plus 850 Cleveland defense to score a touchdown. I like that.
Ooh, okay.
That's a good pick. I like that a lot.
Especially if they throw the ball as much as they did against the Ravens, I could see a pick six written all over that.
Yeah.
Okay. But you're on the Browns?
Yeah. Moving on to the next one, bud.
All right. Bucs at Saints. My Saints here. Here we go. I guess I'll lead us off here. So this is my lock of the week, and I'm a Saints fan. I get that, but I've also not. I don't just take the Saints for every lock of the week. Like I'm not going to do that. I didn't do that last year, and this is a spot. The Saints have absolutely dominated Tom Brady. I don't know. It's a proven fact. We dominate him every time we play him, except one game, and and we're at home and we're underdogs. It makes absolutely no sense. Julio has not practiced this week. Mike Evans, I don't think practiced today. It's Thursday. Godwin, I could see not playing. Like they're super banged up. Leonard Fournette has a hammy that he's dealing with. They just lost like another offensive lineman. The Bucs are getting worse in every single way, and the Saints since the last time they played, when we beat them, when we shut them out, when Tom Brady didn't score a single point against us, we added Jarvis Landry, Michael Thomas, Chris Olave, and got our first round picks from earlier draft classes that have been injured. This line makes absolutely no sense. Put them in. They're my favorite team to include in every teaser. Tease them up to 8.5. It's a perfect. You get it through the 3 and the 7. Include them in all your. I'll tell you, there's 2 other teams that you include in the teaser, but the Saints are the foundation for all of them. So they are your lock of the week. They're winning this game. Don't know what else to say. Saints plus 2.5 all day long.
Jeez, you've been drinking that Kool-Aid or something?
I mean,
God. It was like you're like giving like a presidential speech there, like State of the Union.
Sorry, I don't know what else to say. It's just the line is shocking.
It's not shocking though. Do you guys
It
see
is. Okay, go Corey. Take the Bucs and tell me why.
I am going to take the Bucs. I'm going to take the Bucs for one reason, and one reason only, is because of the defense. Your defense is supposedly top 5 defense.
We do have a good defense.
Got absolutely obliterated last week by the run game of Cordell Patterson and Marcus Mariota. You guys, you can say whatever it was, first game, whatever.
Here, I will say something. I have noticed the Saints defense has struggled against mobile quarterbacks. I'll say that. I've noticed it with Jalen Hurts. If you notice, the Eagles have taken advantage of it. Mariota, running quarterback. Do you know who's not a running quarterback, Corey? Tom Brady.
Thomas Edward Brady to you.
Yeah. Anyways, all the I mean, what PB has said, there's regression against whatever he says. The Bucs defense looked absolutely great last week against definitely a top-notch talent in the Cowboys.
Cowboys are trash.
I mean, their offense on paper is good. So I like the Bucs here.
Really, not with that.
I'll take them.
Not with that O-line.
I'll take the Bucs minus 2.5, and I can't wait to come back here next week and say I was right.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've spent enough time on this game. Give me Saints plus 2.5 at home.
There we go.
Yeah, we've spent enough time.
I'll say shut out Brady with Trevor Siemian. All right. Next game, Panthers at Giants. Giants are favored by 1.5 points. Go ahead, Alex. You can start us off with this one.
I think that both of these teams looked pretty mediocre this past week. Obviously, the Panthers lose one on a 50-something yard field goal to a rookie kicker. Giants are on the other side of the coin. They get the win off of a missed kick, basically. I don't love this game, but I think Saquon is fully healthy, and I like what he's doing. So for that reason alone, I'll ride the Giants minus 1.5.
This is my lock of the week. I'm taking the Panthers minus plus the 1.5 / money line. If you want to get more value there. I like the Panthers. Their defense is by far better than the Giants' offense. I think the Giants have they have offensive weapons. They have Saquon. They have Tony. They have. I mean, if you can classify Galladay.
Tony only played 7 snaps, by the way.
Well, I did see that he was a little frustrated with his play time, but they have Galladay. But I like the matchups on the outside. And I mean, Danny Dimes is still their quarterback, and he still makes bonehead plays. He's doing a little bit better. I mean, he did okay last week, but he still had those plays where you just shake your head like, well, what are you doing? You're fourth year quarterback in the NFL. Like, you can't do that.
What about Baker Mayfield?
Baker looked better in the second half last week, if you do recall. He was hitting people. Christian McCaffrey had a down game as well last week, and I don't think that will happen again this week, especially against the Giants. Giants defense isn't anything special. So I like the Panthers here. Money line plus 1.5, whatever you want to take it.
I'm on the Giants minus 1.5 here. I like when I see good coaching, I just automatically feel more inclined to take them. Like what we saw when they went for 2 on the goal line, or after they scored to win it against the Titans instead of just tying it and go to. That's what I like to see. And Dable is a great coach. I think he's gonna make Danny Dimes a lot better, and he already kind of showed signs of that last week. And I think the Giants are a team. I don't think they're like contenders by any mean, but I think they could be a very sneaky sleeper to make the playoffs at this point. So I mean, it's easy for me to bet against Baker Mayfield. So I'm on the Giants minus 1.5 here. All right, next game, Patriots at Steelers. The Steelers are favorites by 2.5 points.
No,
That's our
Some
favorite.
Patriot. Oh, sorry, I looked at it. Patriots are favored by 2.5.
yeah.
Okay. Sorry about that. Some injuries. TJ Watt is gonna be out. Najee is questionable, but likely to play. What do we think here, Alex?
Man, I have a hard time betting against Mike Tomlin as a home dog. I think that I don't think either of these teams are particularly good this year. I didn't think Mitch played horrible last week. Obviously, they get a win in a very ugly, very typical NFC North or AFC North divisional matchup. Those just kind of we talked about it last year. Everyone talks about it. They're always beating up on each other, playing ugly games in that division. But they squeak one out. They survive against the Bengals, who I think are going to win that division. And I think they ride a little bit of that momentum. And Tomlin, as a home dog, I think he's one of the coaches that knows what the spread is, whether he likes to admit it or not, and uses it as bulletin board material. So for that reason and a banged up Mac Jones, I think the Steelers cover this and win. But I'll take the points 2.5 here.
Yeah. I can't remember the last time, maybe it was the last time when Tom Brady was out for the season or whatever he got hurt, that the Bill Belichick era started 0-2. I know their offense looked terrible, and they looked terrible in the preseason, and it followed up last week against the Dolphins, and Mac Jones looked bad as well. I don't know. I think this is gonna be, I mean, the under's 40.5. So with that, I'm going to take the Patriots in a field goal game. No particular reason. I guess maybe if you compare the quarterbacks, Mac Jones and Mitchell Trubisky, I mean, you can almost say they're the same player right now at this point in their career. I just feel safer with Belichick than I do Tomlin. I think Belichick actually they have the pieces on offense to, move the ball. And hopefully this week they figured it out. So I'll take the Patriots minus 2.5.
Yeah, I'm gonna also be on the Patriots minus 2.5. I've been saying I think the Steelers. I know they beat the Bengals, but them like Burrow beat himself and the Bengals beat themselves. It wasn't the Steelers. Like Burrow looked pretty bad. I mean, he kind of came alive right at the end. But the Steelers, like this, if this shows you anything, the Steelers are at home against a Patriots team that not many consider the Patriots to be good, and they're still underdogs. Like that's rare for a Steelers team to have that, and that shows you what Vegas thinks of them. They're a bad football team, and I'm not even a big Patriots guy whatsoever. I think the Patriots probably missed the playoffs, and I'm on the Patriots -2.5 here in this low total game. I think the Steelers are trash. All right. Next game, Colts at Jags, and the Colts are favored by 3.5. Corey, does this bring back bad memories?
Calm down.
Calm down. It's time to get revenge. Leonard may be out, maybe playing. I'm not quite sure yet. He's probably leaning out anyways, which obviously, I mean, it hurt us last week. There was a couple misblown coverages out there, and Texans were running wide open. Like, that just doesn't usually happen when he's out there on the field. Colts offense looked bad in the first half last week. They didn't score the first touchdown till I think the fourth quarter, maybe. And some really bad, special teams. Look, I mean, there's just mistakes all around the board, and we still end up somehow tying that game. We still have the best running back in the league, JT. So, I mean, if you run him 30 times and he gets 170 yards, usually you should win the game. Just last week, again, there's just bad plays all around. We got rid of Hot Rod. Long time coming. He needed to go. He cost us the game.
Take your Legos and get out of here.
Yeah, go somewhere else, man. But yeah, I mean, it's the Jaguars. The Jaguars didn't look very good last week against the Commanders. Trevor Lawrence missed passes that you wouldn't expect a player like that to miss, or supposedly a player like that to miss. And yeah, I'm not very scared of the Jaguars. So, and I think the Colts really put it together like they did in the fourth quarter of last week. So give me the Colts -3.5, take them 6.5, actually alternate spread it, because I just think it shouldn't even be close.
So since 2019, so the last couple of years, teams playing consecutive road games in week 2 are 8-0 against the spread. There's 3 teams who are playing consecutive road games in week 2 this week: Patriots, Bucs, and Colts. I've already bet against 2 of those 3 teams, and I don't like going against the numbers that much. On top of everything that Corey just mentioned, give me the Colts -3.5.
Well, hang on, before you go, I did see Pittman didn't practice today, so I don't know if that's just them resting him. He'll probably play, but if not, look out for Mike Strawn to come alive.
Yeah, I was about to bring up the Pittman thing because that kind of popped up, and late adds to the injury report aren't usually good. I mean,
that's why they moved from -4.5 to 3.5 today.
I could see that. I'm going to be on the Jags here. Like I think the Colts could win this in like a very close game, most likely, but getting more than a field goal, I'm definitely on the Jags in this divisional game. The Jaguars beat the Colts when the Jaguars were a much worse team. They got much better than the Colts did in the offseason. The Colts, I don't know why you're shaking your head, Corey. What did the Colts do that made them much better compared to all the moves the Jags made?
They got an actual quarterback.
Gilmore, defensive line. I mean, we got Grover Stewart back. We got Ngakoue. We got we added
GOAT, Alex Pierce.
Dude, we added so many pieces. The Jags added Christian Kirk.
They added more than Christian Kirk. Okay.
Well, continue.
But I think the Jaguars improved more than the Colts in the offseason. And I think Lawrence stepping into a second year, although the first week didn't look too good, I could have been shaking some rust off. I think he's going to improve, and I'm on the Jags here in week 2 to at least cover. I will say I do think the Colts could win a very, very close game, but I mean, they didn't even beat the Texans, so
we're undefeated.
Yeah, you're undefeated. Congrats. All right. Next game, we got the Dolphins at the Ravens. Ravens -3.5 point favorites here. Alex, what do you think?
I think Lamar is that guy, and he, as long as he can stay healthy, is going to continue to torch decent to bad defenses. And I don't think the Dolphins have that bad of a defense, or that bad of a defense, but I don't think they're all that good. They've got a couple of pieces, but I think Lamar is going to handle them, and 3.5 doesn't seem like enough to me. So give me the Ravens -3.5 at home.
I think it's for my pick. It's really dependent on if J.K. Dobbins is playing. I think he's a huge difference maker. The Ravens did not run the ball very well last week against the Jets. They don't really have a solidified backfield without him in there. And I like the Dolphins against the Ravens. They usually play them pretty tight. I'm pretty sure last time they played last year, and the Dolphins absolutely smacked him around and definitely kept Lamar in check. And I think, Lamar gets out of the pocket and, he has his ability to run, but I think he really is trying to show that he's a passing quarterback, just, keep boosting up his stock. But I don't know. I think I'm going with the Dolphins here, the +3.5. I don't love it. It's I think it's a toss up, to be honest. I think the spread I guess the Dolphins are on the road, so it wouldn't be closer to like a pick 'em, but I'm going to take the Dolphins here +3.5. I guess my only scary thought about it is Tua being Tua and not looking good, but I'm going to go Dolphins there.
Yeah, when I was looking through the games this week, besides the Saints, this was a potential for my lock of the week. But obviously, the Saints was a slam dunk. But this game is an easy Dolphins +3.5 for me. Like, I think the Dolphins outright win this game. One of the worst quarterbacks in the league against the blitz is Lamar Jackson. And the team that has blitzed at the highest rate since week 1 of last season, since the beginning of week 1 in 2021, blitz at the highest rate are the Dolphins. And that is why Lamar has struggled against the Dolphins when they've played. And he looked like there's someone in his face. He's in the backfield. It's a mess when he faces the blitz. He is legit. Like, when I was looking at the ranks, his passing grade is a 53, which is 34th among 39 qualified quarterbacks. His QB rating is number 30th of all quarterbacks. Like, it's terrible. And he didn't run the ball a lot last week. If he's going to actually try to sit back and be a passing quarterback, this is going to be an ugly game. The Dolphins improved drastically in this offseason, arguably one of the most improved teams in the entire league over this offseason. And the Ravens lost Marquise Brown. Like, this is a very easy pick for me and probably my second favorite pick of the week.
I like it.
Yep. Next game we have Falcons at Rams. It opened at -13, but then we saw the Bills smack the Rams, and the Falcons kind of hung in there with the Saints. So now the line has moved to now -10.5 Rams. Some of these spreads are so tough, but what do you guys think here?
I can't see McVay and Stafford laying another egg like back-to-back weeks, but
Right, an egg, but 10.5.
I know 10.5 is such a big spread because I like the Falcon. Like, this is so like I was talking earlier this week about putting the Falcons in a teaser to 16.5 because that's absurd. But I honestly, now I'm thinking about it, I think I'm liking the Rams here at -10.5, and I think for the main reason is just because, one, the Falcons are not a good team. Their offense is terrible. The Rams have a better defense than the Saints, and I think that the Rams defense will clamp down and, contain the 1.5 weapons that the Falcons have, and Kyle Pitts and who else? I mean, I don't know. I know the Falcons look good, but that was them running the ball against the Saints. Like, the Bills did not run very well against the Rams. Like, the Rams were beaten by Josh Allen. So for that reason, I'm going to take the Rams here -10.5. I might be crazy, but I'm actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to tease the Rams down and set the Falcons up because I think this might be a blowout, to be honest.
Yeah. Initially, I was looking at this thinking Falcons +10.5, like you, Corey, teasing them. But the more that I look at this game, the more I think they bounce back. The Rams bounce back, and I think teasing them down as opposed to the Falcons up is a much safer play. I easily see the Rams winning this game by a touchdown, and I could also very well see them blowing out the Falcons by, let's say, 3 scores. Like that wouldn't shock me.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean it's a lot of points, but I'll take it here with the defending Super Bowl champs.
Yeah, I'm gonna be on the Rams too, minus 10.5. It opened at 13.5, and that makes me, and I think the Falcons kind of outplayed themselves week 1, and the Rams kind of, the Bills looked amazing and they blew them out, but you know, that game also could have been much closer in my opinion. And the Falcons are off a big like letdown game. Like they just blew yet another one of their massive leads. Like they blew a 16-point lead in the fourth. Now they have to travel to Los Angeles across the country. Like I think the Rams could just obliterate this team. So yeah, I'll go ahead and I'm going to be on the Rams minus 10.5 here.
Oh.
I think they win by 2 touchdowns or more. And I hate betting the Rams. I hate the Rams, by the way. So for me to take the Rams, like saying something. All right. Next game, we have the Seahawks at the 49ers. Gino, they came out and they took, they took care of business against the Broncos, which is shocking to me. And now they go into San Francisco to play the 49ers. Jamal Adams is out for the season. Kittle probably not going to play, and Elijah Mitchell is out for the 49ers. What do you guys think here?
Wait, Kittle's out?
He's questionable, but he hasn't practiced all week.
Yeah, he hasn't practiced.
Man, that's I mean, I understand you take the 49ers game with a grain of salt because the playing conditions at Soldier Field are just, how that field is still like able to play on, like eligible. Like I don't understand that. Like how the Bears.
The second they announced they were moving to Arlington Heights, the entire like ground crew was just like, all right, fuck this. We're done. We're done keeping this field up. Like no one cares. They literally had like squeegees.
Yeah.
On like tile floors.
Yeah.
In the grass. Yeah, I know it rained all day, but like, come on.
Yeah, it was bad. But on the other hand, I'm not saying Justin Fields looked amazing, but he was still able to play in that condition. And Trey Lance did not look good. And again, I understand the conditions and whatnot, but I hate this. This is a huge spread. And to be fair, like Geno Smith, like, yeah, he looked good in the first half. That Seahawks offense did not move the ball in the second half at all. Like they should have lost that game. Besides, like the
Broncos literally fumbled that game.
Yeah, literally did. So I don't think the Seahawks are that good. I don't know what the 49ers are yet. I'm staying away from this game. This is just way too high of a spread to be given a team that put up 10 points last week. And especially with Kittle out and Mitchell out. I'm just gonna say, I don't know. I guess I'll go with 40. I'm taking points. I don't know what I'm doing here. I don't like this.
Corey's in an absolute pretzel right now.
Don't bet this game.
Yeah, over a touchdown here is tough for a banged up 49ers team with a very, very new quarterback who, while I know PB you're super high on, he's still very new, very fresh, very raw talent. There's going to be some working through some stuff as an NFL quarterback is just part of it for pretty much everyone, right? Like, I think that the Seahawks really got up for that game because they really don't like Russell Wilson, and they were at home. So the Broncos were literally going off of a hard count the entire game. The Broncos fumbled away basically 3 touchdowns, 2 for sure, and then, late. That being said, I would stay away from this with it being over a touchdown, but I will side with the 49ers minus 8.5 at home because I have to make a pick.
Yep. Well, I guess I forgot Corey switched, but yeah, I'm on the 49ers minus 8.5. This is one of those games. Seahawks outperformed themselves against the Broncos. 49ers completely underwhelmed against the Bears. So this line, I think, would be 100% over 10 if few things just slightly go different. And I'm a firm believer still in Trey Lance. He had some great passes to Ayuk in that game in those terrible conditions. He still ran the ball as well as he could in that weather. He's going to run all over this team, and they're going to destroy the Seahawks. So this is my next leg when I was talking about a teaser. So it's the Saints. You get 2.5 up to 8.5. Now you can tease the 49ers. This is another leg. I typically like doing 2-team teasers, so never like combine like 4 teams, but just take combinations of 2 of the teams I mentioned. 49ers are into the next one. So tease them down to 2.5. One of my favorites of the week. Yeah, they're going to destroy the Seahawks. Next game, we have the Bengals at the Cowboys. The Bengals are 7.5-point favorites after the Dak stuff. So, we saw them get beat by the Steelers.
Cooper Rush. Cooper Rush. Cooper Rush.
Are you on Cooper Rush, Alex, here against?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
This is like you were saying with this last game. You think that the Seahawks overperformed, the Niners underperformed. I obviously think the Bengals underperformed last week. And the Cowboys without Dak, I think, are in trouble because they are not moving the ball a ton on the ground, and they refuse to give the ball to Tony Pollard, and Zeke is running in molasses still. So I'm going to go Bengals minus 7.5 on the road here. I think Joey B bounces back a little bit. I will be surprised if T. Higgins doesn't play at this point. He was listed as out of practice today, but for personal reasons, not because of concussion protocol. So that makes me think that he's cleared concussion protocol and they just kept him off the field for another day. From the way I'm reading it, the Bengals are going to be at full strength. Cowboys are going to be starting Cooper Rush. And for that reason, Bengals minus 7.5.
Wait, okay. This is I'm not being like, facetious or anything like that, but like who has a better defense, the Steelers or the Cowboys? Like I'm just genuinely asking.
Probably
I think
Cowboys.
they're both pretty good.
I think, yeah, I would
like they're both top half of the league for sure.
Yeah.
They're not neither are amazing, but both are top half.
Yeah.
I just want to say, well, go ahead. Sorry.
I mean, if obviously this line would be different if Dak was playing. Dak is obviously a 5-point or whatever that swing is, and
like 9.
They
opened at -2. Yeah.
Swung. I mean, to be fair, I will say Zeke ran the ball extremely well last week. He's averaging 5.9 yards a carry. Tony Pollard, I mean, understand he had some bad plays called for him, and yeah, the Bengals are gonna just absolutely focus on CeeDee Lamb, and then you're asking Cooper Rush to throw the ball to
Noah
Brown,
Simi Fahaku, Dennis Houston, and Noah Brown.
And then I mean, I guess I almost just want to take the Cowboys at home because of the defense and the way that Joey looked last week, but I'm not. I guess I'll take the Bengals minus 7.5, even though I don't think the Bengals are going to make the playoffs this year. So I'll take them in this one, but that's about it.
So you think the Ravens are winning that division?
Yeah, I think I'd take the Ravens definitely over the Bengals right now. The Bengals offensive line.
I know it's just one of those 2 teams. I don't know if it's not the Bengals, it'd be the Ravens.
I mean, it could be the Brownies.
Yeah, it won't be them. All right. Yeah, I'm on the Bengals. Week 2 is one of my favorite weeks in the NFL because you get all of the overreactions from week 1. Like so many lines are just changed so drastically because of just an overreaction, when if you can kind of see how the teams will actually be in the long run, you can have a big edge. And this seems like a slam. So this is my 3rd leg of the teaser. Get it from 7.5 down to 1.5. The Bengals are covering 1.5. Telling you that right now against Cooper Rush. If they don't, there should be alarm bells ringing. Like, then I agree with you, Corey. The Bengals probably aren't winning the division. It's going to be probably the Ravens, but I just don't see that happening. Joe Burrow is going to come out here. If Jamar Chase is matched up with Trevon Diggs, he could go set another record where he scores like 350 yards in a game. Trevon Diggs is a playmaker and he'll go for, but he gets burned all the time, left and right. Trevon Diggs gets burned, and I would love to see Jamar Chase matched up with him, because he's gonna just go nuclear against him. But yeah, I'm all over. Like, it's Cooper Rush. The Bengals still have a good defense, and
Before we move
still
on
be a
from
good
this,
problem.
do the Cowboys, since this is their year, like every other years, do they go out and trade for a quarterback if Cooper Rush looks bad?
No, because Dak didn't even put on IR. I think that he'll actually
Out
come
for
back.
6 to 8 weeks. So I'm just saying,
Jerry Jones said he's like expecting him back in like less than 4.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's, I mean, when was the last time you heard a guy with a plate in his hand?
I don't
Agreed.
know.
Agreed.
It's
But
rare. It's weird.
I think they go out and they should probably trade for someone because I mean, if they have any hope of this, you know,
I think they're in a bad. I mean, they're in a bad spot to do that, though, right? Like,
yeah,
Yeah,
it's
they would be
it's
giving up
clear
a
the
lot.
Niners. Yeah, it's clear the Niners are expecting a good amount for Jimmy G. They were willing to re-sign him. They didn't like any of the offers that they got enough to the point
And
that they
now they could get more because they're in more needy.
right.
Yeah.
But the
Okay,
Cowboys also know that. So like,
food
Yeah.
for thought. I mean, the Cowboys aren't making the playoffs. He's out 8 weeks.
No.
I don't think the Cowboys are going to make the playoffs regardless.
Yeah. It's
All right.
looking for them. All right. Next game, Texans at Broncos. We have Broncos -9.5. Looks like Justin Simmons will be out here.
Yeah.
For the Broncos. All right. What do you guys think here for the Broncos?
Give me
Go ahead, Corey.
Give me the Broncos. I mean, give them. I think they're. You can almost. I almost say they win this game by 2 touchdowns. The Broncos are a good team. They have a good defense. They're going to Houston. No, they're at home.
They're at home.
Yeah,
never mind.
And Bronco. We know one of the toughest, especially going from Texas to that like altitude. Like, Broncos, as we know, have one of the best home field advantages.
Yeah, and I mean, I think Hackett made a huge mistake and he realized it. I mean, he said I made a mistake and didn't call timeout there. And I mean, you have Russell Wilson for a reason. I don't think Russell Wilson's like this amazing quarterback. He's good, and they have the weapons. And again, just keep running Javonte Williams. Stop. So, I mean, Melvin Gordon coming in. I understand Melvin Gordon ran pretty well, but every time Javonte Williams touched the ball, you looked like he was going to break it. Like
he's running over people.
Yeah,
every time.
Every time. And the Texans just gave up 168 yards to Jonathan Taylor. I know Javonte Williams is not Jonathan Taylor, but I mean, come on. This is not gonna be close.
Yeah. Agreed. This is going along with the theme that we've been saying all episode. The Texans, I think, overperformed by a little bit. I mean, they put up 20 points and tied the Colts. And the Broncos clearly underperformed. Blew a lot of chances. On top of all of those fumbles, had a ton of penalties that resulted in first downs for the Seahawks on 3rd and long, 4th and short, etc. They're getting a chance to be at home in a friendly environment, in a unique environment for every other team except for them. Broncos -9.5. Let's ride.
That's right. Because the Broncos are going to. This is one of the candidates for biggest, blowout game of the week. I think the Broncos could. I mean, as you guys both have said, just completely obliterate this team. So I'm on the Broncos -9.5 here, easily. Next game, I actually really like one side of this game here. Cardinals at Raiders. It opened at -2.5. Along with, well, actually, no, the Raiders didn't. The Raiders looked all right, but I was gonna say one of them overperformed, but both of them lost.
Yeah, but I mean, the Raiders, for turning the ball over at least 3 times. Like, aside if
Yeah.
you take those out, which is obviously a big if, they didn't look all that bad against a really good Chargers team. The Cardinals, on the other hand, looked completely lost against a very good Chiefs team. Obviously, no D-Hop for another couple games. I don't think J.J. Watt's playing. Zach Ertz is questionable, hasn't practiced this week, I don't think. Raiders at home. I will take them under a touchdown, even though it's a little bit more points than I'd like to bet. I'm leaning -5.5 for the Raiders.
Yeah, I'm on the same side. I think the Cardinals are gonna learn. Oh, continue.
Sorry, just realized this. Definitely bet the Raiders -5.5. The new Call of Duty beta drops.
I didn't know that. That might change my pick.
Yeah,
Oh
I mean,
man, that's rough.
I think
That's the inside information people don't know about.
I think the Cardinals are gonna realize like a year and a half from now that they made a huge mistake in signing Kyler Murray to that massive deal. I think he's an okay I think he's a good quarterback. I don't think he's worth what they paid him. And basically, if you have someone of his caliber who has this potential talent, you just automatically have to pay him. And like out of the quarterbacks who are getting paid, who need to get paid, I think he was last on like he hasn't won a playoff game. I mean, yeah, he's done all these things. And like I just don't think he's a great quarterback. I don't think he was entitled to that contract that he got. On the other hand, I like the Raiders offense a lot. The Cardinals offense is banged up right now. They couldn't move the ball last week against the Chiefs defense, who, I mean, notoriously has been bad. They've gotten a little bit better, but at the end of the day, it's still the Chiefs. I mean, they're an offensive juggernaut more than a defensive juggernaut. And the Cardinals defense didn't look good. I like the Raiders. I like the Raiders to make the playoffs this year. So I'm taking the Raiders here -5.5.
I really like the Cardinals +5.5 here. The Raiders, as I said, in some of the offseason things we did. Congrats. You got Devonta Adams. He got 17 targets week 1, went crazy, and you lost to the Chargers. It's what I've been saying. The Raiders went all in on Devonta Adams as they paid him all. Congrats. You're still probably going to be 4th in the division. I still think the Broncos and the Chiefs and I'm blanking on the last team.
Chargers.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The team they just played, the Chargers, all going to finish ahead of you. And the Cardinals, I think the Kyler Murray hate has gotten a little out of hand. I still think he is a very, very good quarterback. And the Chiefs just were incredible last year. Like it was more of a testimony to Mahomes than I think Kyler. It was week 1. Now I believe they're playing. I guess they are playing in Las Vegas. But it opened at 2.5. Like I don't know why. Like the Chiefs looked really good, but I don't think the Cardinals looked bad. And then the Raiders got beat by the Chargers, and then you're gonna move it through a key number of 3, and 4 is small key number, and 5 and get to 5.5. Like that's way too much in my opinion to move. I think the Cardinals can definitely keep this within a field goal, and I won't be surprised if they win this game. I don't think the Raiders are that good. Like I really don't. So I'm on the Cardinals here. I think Kyler can have a nice bounce back game, even if he stays up late playing Call of Duty. I saw it was like last week there was a double XP weekend, and that's why had a down game.
They really screwed him on that clause. Like it's just that's their own fault.
Yeah, that was
none of this is a part of the conversation. There's probably some memes.
Wasn't watching enough film.
Yeah, there's probably some memes of it, but like nowhere near the amount of rhetoric. Anyways,
yeah, it was his first game with Marquise Brown too. Let him get a little warmed up. He's gonna have some good games.
Other than
what's that?
Didn't they play together in college?
Well, like in the NFL,
True.
like first game. All right. Next game we have Bears at Packers.
Yes, sir.
Is -9.5. I don't know if is Alan Lazard playing?
He practiced today.
Okay, and the big is and Bakhtiari.
I don't think he's
Bakhtiari.
practiced this week.
That he's one of the biggest ones because he matters more for anyone on that team. But well, I mean, the Bears. This could be another one of those theme of this week: outperforming and underperforming. And a lot of these teams are playing each other this week. Teams that drastically underperformed and drastically overperformed. I think this is a great week for bets, and this could be another one of those spots. But what do you think?
All right, here we go. This is the lock of the week. Now, I know what you're going to say. I know Rodgers owns Chicago, owns the Bears. He's 8-1 straight up and 9-0 against the spread versus the Bears after a loss. He's won and covered the last 6 meetings, yada, yada, yada. Remember this. The Brookfield Zoo here in Chicago, Illinois, this past Tuesday just has to put down their 27-year-old brown bear, Jim the Bear.
Oh,
this
no.
game is dedicated to Jim the Bear. Jim is also my
Is that like a
name.
thing? Is that did the Bears say that?
This is now a thing. This game is for Jim the Bear. It's the lock of the week. The Bears are covering 9.5. I don't know if they're winning, but they're covering 9.5.
Jim the Bear. What a narrative.
The poor guy.
Oh man,
27. That's a really good life.
Isn't that more of a narrative? But also, couldn't that be a narrative that the Bears are just getting slaughtered this week? Like you could just flip that script and say the Bears are about to get wrecked this week.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Alex.
It's a dedicated win.
I just don't.
It's a sign the Bears are going to get slaughtered.
They actually, as horrible as it is, they did in the article say that he was euthanized. So if you want to roll with that narrative,
Rodgers is about to do it.
I mean, they should just release that thing back in the wild and let it live out the last of its life of trying to adapt. I mean, the pack. If the Packers can, if Lazard plays, and I think that's a huge, huge talking point. If Lazard can play, and Aaron Rodgers has some, confidence in throwing the ball to the outside, he didn't have any confidence last week. Drop balls left and right. Rookies made mistakes, and I think the Bears looked good last week, but this is in Lambeau, and I think the Packers take this back, and Aaron Rodgers is probably not too happy with what happened last week, and he gave the entire wide receiver room a smacking afterwards, because I think they're going to turn this around, and I think the Packers come out and win this.
Yeah, the Packers have absolutely owned the Bears, and last week we didn't get to see it as much because of the weather, but the 49ers line and the Bears offensive line was a complete mismatch that I don't think we got to really see transpire just because of the weather conditions. With good weather, which this game should be, I think the Packers, they have one of the best defenses, if not the best defense in the league. I know the Vikings did very well. The Packers could absolutely dominate at the line of scrimmage and eat Justin Fields alive here. And I'm all over the Packers in the spot. I don't think the Bears stand a chance. I think Justin Fields makes some very bad mistakes this game. All right. Next game, we have the Titans at the Bills. Tre'Davious White still out, right?
Yep.
Okay. I think that's all the news. What do you guys think here? The Titans looked rough.
Yeah, rough is an understatement. Their offensive line's bad. Derrick Henry,
very bad.
Derrick Henry was okay. Passing game is, I mean, I don't know I mean, the Bills just absolutely just ripped apart the Rams defense, and arguably the Rams have one of the best defenses, like I said earlier. And Josh Allen just threw the ball wherever he wanted to. I think the same thing's going to happen against the Titans. Titans, I don't think stand a chance. I know it's Vrabel. Geez, long day here. But the Bills are at home. I mean, this is easy. -9.5. Give me the Bills.
Yeah, the Bills are who we thought they were. Bills -9.5 against a much worse Titans team than the Rams.
Oh yeah, this is the easy pick for me. Another -9.5. Titans, one of the worst teams in the NFL, in my opinion. Just utter garbage. Congrats on paying Derrick Henry. All right, next game we have
Two
the
money
Vikings. This should be a possibly. I mean, we've had some larger spreads here this week. I would argue that in addition, I think the three best games of the week, probably tonight's game.
Yeah.
And well, you guys, but Bucs Saints is mine just because it's my team. So I think the Bucs, they're two headline teams in the division. But I think this Vikings Eagles game might be one of the best of the week. And it's Monday Night Football. This is a good game.
Yeah, this one's going to be a fun one. Both teams looked very good this past week. As we said, the Eagles kind of let up on the gas a little bit at the end there, which made the score look a lot closer than it was. But like, you still got A.J. Brown putting up 150 yards in his first game there. You got Jalen Hurts running for almost 100. And then on the other side of the ball, Jay Jets putting up 180 and 2 touchdowns. Like, come on. Kevin O'Connell said he's going to be in that Cooper Kupp role, and I think you saw that. There was,
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I can't remember the percentages, but it was like last year under Mike Zimmerman or whoever was the OC at the time, the percentage of Justin Jefferson in motion pre-snap versus Kevin O'Connell, Justin Jefferson in motion pre-snap was like triple.
Yeah, I think it was like 20%. It was under 20%.
Yeah, to like 60 plus last game or something insane like that. And clearly it works. So
unreal.
Yeah, this one's gonna be a fun one. I think it's a coin toss. I do like the Vikings here. I took the money line a little bit earlier in the week, but in terms of picks here on the show, I'll take some points just for a little bit of insurance. But yeah, Vikings +1.5.
I think this could be potentially the NFC Championship game. I think both teams have improved significantly. With Vikings with getting new.
I'm just shocked you didn't see the Bucs off the Bucs bandwagon, huh?
I'm not on the Bucs bandwagon.
Off of Brady.
Keep your mouth shut.
Off of Brady, not finally.
I like Jalen Hurts a lot. I think he has what it takes to be the quarterback in an NFL. I know his first couple of years were kind of iffy, and this is like the year where he has to show. And I think last week was they needed a number one, and AJ Brown is a number one guy. And then on the other side, the Vikings have a good offense as well. Jefferson, Cook, Thielen. But I tend to like the Eagles defense a lot better. I don't think I think the Eagles will figure out the run game. Eagles have one of the best defensive line in the league. I mean, I don't think the Lions will be able to run, or the Vikings will be able to run like the Lions did last week. I think they'll figure it out. I like the Eagles here, -1.5 / money line, wherever you want to take them.
This one, I had to pick until I realized what day this was and when it's being played.
Prime time.
And my pick was going to be the Vikings +1.5.
Prime time.
I really want that to be my pick because they were also my fourth leg, or just my fourth team to include in teasers, and 2-team teasers. And that's teasing the Vikings up from 1.5 to 7.5 in this Monday Night Football game, because I do think it's going to be a very close game down to the wire. But I've told myself I can never, ever bet on prime time Kirk Cousins. I cannot do it. It is like a in my rule book. It's in there. It's one of the rules. And I can't do it. So for that reason, I have to be on the Eagles -1.5 here. Not a big Jalen Hurts guy, but they do have a very, very good surrounding team. And it's a good. So what you can do then is you take the Eagles -1.5, but then take the Vikings in your teasers, and you have, I think, a very good chance at maybe middling that game where you hit both sides.
Bold strategy there, Cotton.
I mean, yeah, if it's a close game and Eagles win, you hit both sides of them, and yeah, I think it can work sometimes. So, yeah, Corey, what was your lock? I don't know why is it the
Panthers.
Oh, the Panthers. That's man, sheesh, scary. That's what I want to ask you, Corey. So you now think the Vikings and the Eagles are the best teams in the NFC. What happened one to the Rams? Because I know you're a big Rams guy. Was it just that blowout, just that whopping by the Bills that just scared you off of them?
No, you know how hard it is to return to the NFC championship or just the championship game alone.
But I'm just talking about. I know, like, you're stuck on like just returning to it, like back-to-back NFC championships going there. But I'm talking about just talent of teams. Like
I still like the Rams. I said potentially. I didn't say this will be. I said potentially the Vikings.
If the Rams were playing the Vikings or the Eagles, who would you pick to win? If the Rams were playing the Vikings, I want to know who you would pick to win the game.
Rams or Vikings? I take Rams.
And Rams versus Eagles.
I don't know. It'd probably be a toss-up.
And Bucs versus Vikings.
Why are we playing this game?
I was curious. It's just interesting that you have picked two teams to make the NFC Championship, yet you're high on. If I was going to pick two teams to make the NFC Championship, I'd be the highest on those two teams in the NFC. It's just interesting.
Interesting. We'll come back next week when you have to apologize for saying that.
We'll see.
I grabbed a 6-point teaser here and included a couple of your picks, PB. So I thought I'd share. Got it up to plus 240, 4 teams, 6 points. Steelers plus 8.5, Saints plus 8.5, Bengals -1.5, Vikings plus 7.5.
Yeah, I like all those about the Steelers, obviously, because I hate that team. But I guess that's a low total. I guess it's not too bad at home.
Yeah, I think their defense is gonna just take a dump on Mac Jones,
even without Watt.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's gonna do it. And did Nick send in any locks or no? I just am curious. Okay.
Next week.
He's on his honeymoon, so his lock probably would have lost anyway. It probably would have been the Browns if we're being serious. But anyway, that'll do it for this week's episode. We're doing a DFS one, or I don't know.
Maybe.
Okay, possibly week 1 or week 2 DFS show. But thank you guys for watching. This is the Fantasy Football Formula, and we'll see you next time.
Like and subscribe.